Hi, welcome back everybody, it's me, obsessed with the moon here. As part of one of the best April Fool's joke snapshots of all time, Mojang added a brand new dimension, called the moon. At first glance, with cows that walk backwards and blocks you can eat, it all seems like some kind of big prank. But a big part of these April Fool's joke updates is testing. Mojang could drop literally anything into the game, test it out, and see what we think. Lads, it's time to pull out those tinfoil hats, strap them on real tight, and buckle in, because we're going to the moon. It's time we take a closer look at this moon dimension, all of its complex mechanics, and what it could mean for a new dimension. Let's go. A new world, nothing like it. Inside of a fresh survival world with, I must say, one of the best spawns of all time, if we want to go to the moon, we have to vote. Before we vote, today's motto: it's not that deep. We're obviously in a joke snapshot. On the surface, these are all joke features. Today is more about what these features could mean in the future in vanilla, and what Mojang might be testing. If Mojang were testing things, the first thing they could be testing here is a new way to get to a new dimension. Usually to enable the moon here, we'd have to pass a vote, but voting schmoting. I'm operating a totalitarian regime here, so no vote, just pass. With Big Moon Rule passed, all we need to do is really wait till nighttime. And while we're waiting for nighttime, we should probably get on that survival grind. Before we go to the moon, in this snapshot, there is one big thing that we absolutely need, and that's gonna be a crafting table. Scratch that, I lied. There are two big things we need. To check out another potential new mechanic Mojang could potentially be testing, we need air. If I go ahead and pass the air blocks rule, we unlock air. Now, with a little bit of wood on hand and air unlocked, check this out. We go ahead and make ourselves a crafting table, and then inside of this crafting table, we make ourselves a bunch of glass bottles. Check done. With these glass bottles inside of the crafting table in a 2x2 square, just like that, as you could see here, we are literally crafting air. As any good Minecraft professional would know, in a standard survival world, there are basically two things you need to keep your eye on: your health and your hunger. You make sure both of those are good, and you're good. Imagine a world, a slightly more difficult world, where you also need to keep track of something else, like say, breathing. Vanilla Minecraft's got three dimensions: the overworld, the nether, the end. To get to the nether, you build this rectangle shape vertically. To get to the end, you find this square shape horizontally. But I mean, think about it. Does it always have to be squares and rectangles? No, not necessarily. It could be gigantic cows that you fill up with a bunch of air and then literally rocket yourself up, somewhat questionably, over to a brand new dimension. So our cow friend is flying into the... No, he's sinking. Air, no. If we go ahead and give our good friend a bunch of air and then get on top of our friend and rocket ourselves up to the moon, questionably, an explosion happens, and voila, a brand new dimension in a brand new way. That's so interesting. This is something that could be done in survival Minecraft by maybe like flying your elytra really, really high up. Then all of a sudden, you leave the overworld and go to the aether. But anyways, give it enough time, look down, and we'll find that we're rocketing at warp lightning speed towards the surface of a new dimension. A whole new untouched land. The moon. We've landed. We're here. And now that we've landed on the moon, immediately we'll notice some funny business going on. If we jump, gravitational pull. Oh my gosh, it's completely different inside of this dimension. It's weaker. I mean, it wouldn't make sense for vanilla Minecraft's end dimension. That would be so dangerous, but can you imagine a Minecraft dimension where like jumping is a little bit different? Maybe you could jump less, or maybe ideally you could jump even more. That would make farms, building, everything like way more interesting. I can see it now, this diamond house right here. You don't have to put the door right on the floor. You could put it like 5 blocks up. You jump up, land on a platform, and boom, you're inside of it. Aside from the gravity being different, the second thing we would probably notice is the entities. They are literally moonwalking cows. Like they walk backwards. They're moonwalking. Also, because I mean, logically, I'm slowly suffocating up here. The cows, they would do the same thing. To get around that, they've got a helmet, so they don't have to worry about breathing ever. It's pretty amazing. Unlike you might expect, if we were to take out a moon cow, instead of getting like beef or something like that, we get a block and we get glass bottles. I've also been able to get bones from taking out these cows, and I think sometimes I've gotten glass blocks or panes as well. Yeah, right there, glass block. I knew it. You may have also noticed, depending on the time of the day, a gigantic landmass floating in the sky. That's where we came from. This is Minecraft. Also, I regret to inform you that I'm slowly dying. Like, I'm slowly suffocating. So slowly. As soon as we entered this brand new dimension, a brand new bar popped up on our hotbar. It's bubbles, just like we see underwater. Instead of drowning in water, though, this time we're drowning in an atmospheric void, the space, the lack of oxygen. That's exactly why you want to bring air here. You bring air, you eat the air. And there you go, you hit a deep breath. Logically, all of your air is back. Think back earlier on in the beginning, I talked about how you craft air. You craft it with glass bottles. That's right, you craft air with glass bottles. And glass bottles from the moon cow. With moon cows spawning all over this dimension, and with them dropping glass in glass bottles, air is renewable here. A brand new dimension that would be late game because you got a brand new mechanic to worry about. Maybe it's oxygen, maybe it's thirst, or heck, maybe in a deep dark dimension, maybe it's noise created. No matter what it is, it's a new mechanic and it's beautiful. Oh yeah, and the moon, it's made up of cheese. Like, literally cheese. You can eat these blocks. What? So one of the other moon cow drops that I kind of skipped over is cheese. If you take out a moon cow from time to time, you'll get a block. It looks like endstone, but you are deceived. It's actually the brand new cheese block. If you forgot oxygen would come to the moon, not a problem. Take out a moon cow, you get air. If you forgot food on the moon, not a problem. All you need to do is look down at the ground and literally eat the ground. A brand new edible block. It's kind of like cake, to be honest. This is insane. I think I'm in love. But not only am I in love because I literally love cheese, but also because this is fascinating. Imagine an update, a potential 1.21 update that adds a new tool where you could chip corners of a block away and make smaller bits of a block, all in vanilla Minecraft. Interesting. At this point, I'm starting to lose track. I have no clue how many different mechanics this thing is testing out here, but there's a lot of mechanics here. There's a lot of mechanics here, and we haven't even touched the big one quite yet. You look at that thing right there. Very, rover-y looking. It looks like a rover. Even former US President Taft, the same guy that just got so happy that you dropped a like on this video. Well, even President Taft, who doesn't know much about moon rovers, knows that this is certainly some kind of strange rover with redstone. Okay, so if you haven't seen this one quite yet, it's going to blow your mind. And think about your Minecraft world, then structures that you find inside of it. And typically, when you find a structure inside of it, it's already, like, generated. It's there. You don't really interact with it to, like, expand it in any way. I guess, sure, sometimes you will find a structure like the jungle temple where there's a puzzle to solve, but the structure itself doesn't really change, let alone generate. If we were to walk up to this Mars rover and take a look at this thing, Acme is self-building a lunar base. Taking a look at it here, we've got some cool antenna, very nice. We got some wheels, we got a chain, that's nice too. But we also, essentially, have a structure that we can trigger the generation of. If we move up to this rover and land on the gold pressure plate and then move out of the way, an explosion happens, a meteor lands from somewhere, and look at this thing. Hold your breath, take a deep breath, take a seat, because give it enough time, and all in 100% vanilla Minecraft, we have a structure that is slowly loading itself in, generating, right in front of our very eyes and faces. Imagine that, a structure you walk up to in the world, maybe you bring a key over to, and you actually like unlock or something. It forms inside of the world, where it never was before, but it always could have been. Oh, it's beautiful. It's so beautiful. What we just did right there, lads, what the devs could have been testing out with the help of us, lads. It's the concept of going over to a new structure, interacting with it, and generating more of it. All in vanilla Minecraft. Okay, so there's a lot to take in with this one. As we move back over towards the center of this thing, which is marked with the original rover, we will see copper blocks all over the place, and we'll hear a lot of noise happening to it. But we see copper blocks and a brand new copper spleeve blocks all over the place. Back over at the center of this thing, we don't really have much. This is a difficult structure to navigate because as soon as you touch these copper spleeves, they essentially, they break apart. You gotta be quick. Combat this whole structure breaking apart as you try and move through it thing with the different gravitational pull, aka jumping mechanics. And oh man, it's so cool. Like so many other things in this video today, it's such a different experience. This all kind of reminds me of like drip leaf parkour in the vanilla game or something, where you've got to be quick. But why? Why in the world will you spend your time parkouring through gigantic moon base, you ask? Oh, it's so simple. You see, friends, we spend our time parkour through giant moon base for the loot inside of the moon base. Moon mission resupply crate. As we can see, inside of the crate, we've got different survival supplies: dirt, sand, iron, gold. All of these supplies are wonderful, cool, useful supplies that you would not usually find on this moon dimension. Each crate seems to be different as well. Yeah, so that's right. Essentially, you trigger something, and then somehow, somewhere, somebody rockets you in a bunch of loot. It's magic. You can also find these moon shulker boxes too. Now these things, they kind of seem to be like the big boy loot. It generally seems to be better inside of the shulker boxes, at least from what I've seen. Oh, and also, it's a shulker box. You can pick it up and use it. Honestly, there's so much here. We've got lower implications. We got a parkour-based structure. We got a structure that, again, we literally created. We generated this in. Now, a little pro tip from me to you. If you try this out in your world, it gets easier to jump around this thing the higher you get in it. Big thing here, though, check out this jump. I don't know if you noticed this jump compared to some of the jumps I was making earlier, but seeing as I'm farther away from the moon, a little bit higher up now, my jumps have gotten even crazier. As you get farther away from the gravitational body, your gravity gets less, meaning you can jump farther. Look, I am no developer. I have no clue how tricky this would be to pull off in survival Minecraft, but they pulled it off. And that's the one that really got me. Sure, this brand new dimension, it's cool, the new mobs, the edible blocks, the new structure even, it's all great. But the small detail is such a minor subtle thing. This is crazy and so high quality. Another thing that I noticed with this structure is you have buttons generating all over it too. The buttons don't seem to do anything. When I press them, nothing seems to happen. Maybe it's just like a little bit of detailing work on this build. I don't know. So that, my friends, is the moon survival base that you can create by interacting with something inside of this dimension. The stuff is insane. I know some of you might be wondering about this copper sleeve block. Can we get it in survival if we mine it with a pickaxe? Unfortunately not. I do not think there is a way to get the sleeves in survival. But the copper, you could absolutely take this thing apart and maybe like build with the copper or something. To make all of this even more exciting, there is not only one rover on the moon. These self-building moon-based rovers are actually a generation feature inside of this dimension, meaning you'll find them all over this place if you just keep looking. Now, taking a look at the surface here, it's the moon. Of course, logically, we have craters all over this thing. Giant circles. In Minecraft, a whole dimension of circles? Seems cursed. What the devs are showing off here is actually pretty straightforward, though. It's obviously just different generation. You could have different generation in different dimensions. Maybe giant circles all over the place. Sometimes they're deep circles, sometimes they're shallow circles. To be fair, though, we did kind of already know that they could do this. They've done it with the Nether. They've done it with the End. The one thing you might be wondering about is the inside of the moon. If we move down underneath the moon, what do we have? And unfortunately, nothing. To check out our next unique mechanic tied to this strange dimension, we'll have to have been on the moon for a little bit of time. Like, let's say a day or so. Let's say, in our time over at this foreign land, we've had enough time to locate a rover, get supplies, and actually start to build a base. We're colonizing the moon, baby. A side note, I recently found out that NASA is, planning more space missions, which absolutely blew my mind. Is this legit? Are we actually about to go back to the moon? And Minecraft predicted it all? Yeah, anyways, in our time on the moon, we've gone ahead and built this beautiful looking home. It fits that moon vibe, is gorgeous. We move into the home in 100% survival Minecraft, and we can see that unfortunately, we're still drowning in air. However, packed air comes into play. If we go ahead and craft a little bit of packed air inside of the crafting table and then actually place this air down inside of this structure, just like that, we've gone ahead and put air inside of this moon base. And it should stay in here. With the packed air placed and locked inside of this structure, I could stand in here forever and not have to worry about breathing. That means, yes, you could actually create fully realistic moon bases in survival Minecraft with air trapped inside of those bases that you could breathe in forever. You stay inside of there, you get all the air you need, you venture out into the wasteland, you eat a couple blocks for your big exploration journey, and then you go find more cows. You take the cows out, or maybe even you farm the cows, get more glass, and you could literally live here forever. You could live here forever. But after a little bit of time, let's say you just miss good old home sweet home. You want to go back to the overworld. Well, to get back to the overworld, it's pretty easy. How did you get here? You got here on a cow. How do you leave here? Well, you go ahead and leave here if you wanted to on a cow as well. Go ahead and feed the moon cow a bunch of air. Eventually, it'll rocket up into the sky. I don't want to leave. You can ride it up to the sky, though, and it'll leave. You could leave the moon and go right back to the overworld. Just like that. It's an amazingly different way to be able to travel in between dimensions. But then again, maybe feeding cows air in survival vanilla Minecraft, maybe that's a little bit strange, a little bit off. So yeah, I guess they always could. They could add another type of portal. You know, something like that. Minecraft's big new joke dimension inside of the joke snapshot. Could it maybe be not as much of a joke as we thought? What do you think? Do you think the devs are testing out anything specific that'll come into the game in the future here? Or is it all just literally a prank, bro? At this point, I'm pretty sure I've discovered just about every secret there is to discover on the moon, but if you know about another one, definitely let me know down below. Big shout out Patron Gang, Archangel, Ground Crazy Mate, Medical Boomsticks, Whoopie Loopers, and Noodle Pork. You're the best. Thanks for watching. A sub for Moon Survival soon. Wait, what? Anyways, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.